Paul, and we certainly struggle with all the same issues, you know, retention, recruitment, meeting attendance was mentioned. I mean, these are very significant issues. But another issue that we're dealing with in Metropolitan in particular is PAC contributions. Never was at the forefront until fairly recently in my mind, simply because of the legislation that we're now trying to get passed and so forth and push forward. We've always had good contributions in terms of the dollar amount, but never so much in terms of percentage. So I think what, in my mind, we need to do better at is trying to stimulate more contributions from members in general versus the actual number. You know, getting more members to contribute and having a higher percentage of people who contribute versus just trying to get everyone to contribute as much as possible. So certainly now with the legislation that we see, I think this is very important that people are pushing for this much more than we have in the past in Metropolitan. So that's the one issue that we discussed a bit here.
Thank you. Jeffrey?
I'd like to expand on what Mike Klett said. Does anybody, I'd like to see a show of hands. How many people here think that the percentage of participation in PAC in Massachusetts is over 50%? How many people here think it's over 30%? How many people think it's over 20%? Okay, would it shock you to know that it's under 20%? So that if we just got to 25%, it would be a huge thing. I mean, and that's true nationally. I think, I'm not sure, Mike, do you know, is it 18%?
18%.
18% in Massachusetts, and nationally it's even lower than that.
It's about
15. So, someone used the phrase, walk the walk and talk the talk. Well, you know, politics is in fact the mother milk of, I mean, what money is the mother milk of politics, and it's what we need to do. And some people resisted on the idea of principle that it wrangles them the idea of buying votes. Well, you're not buying votes. What you're doing is you're buying access to legislators who vote on the topics. And if you don't have an open door for them, from them, then they're never going to hear our side of the story. So that's what's so important about contributing.
The interesting thing is the top PAC is the trial lawyers. Think about it. They tend to give most of the money to get the laws changed. The attorneys. I mean, a lot of our people, when we talk to them, think that because when they pay their dues, that their dues include our advocacy efforts. But by law, we can't use the dues money for a PAC, and they don't understand that concept either. So they assume that they're already, giving to some legislative initiative.
Access is important. Access is important. Howard?
Just as what Charlie was saying, I sit on the executive board for the PAC for the last 11 years. And I remember when the PAC was really not where it is today. It was far less. And Karen could certainly be a more historical perspective of that. There was always great representation in Metropolitan back in those days. And you still have great representation there, tucked away. Capital Consulting, who is our lobbyist for the Mass Dental side, will say that any 7 phone calls on one issue to any representative will make their ears open up. When we send out the email blasts, when they get 40, 50, or 60 phone calls on one issue, trust me, things happen on Beacon Hill to find out what's going on. We are the 2nd largest PAC in the state. Yes, 2nd largest PAC, and probably, as our lobbyists will tell you, is probably one of the more well-organized grassroots advocacy program that they have. We're 2nd to the Mass State employees, or retirement employees, I think it is. And that's something to be proud for all of you who do participate in the PAC. You asked the question before as to how do you disseminate the information. Every trustee comes to the meeting and listens to the lobbyists that come to our meetings. And they are fully informed as much as those who sit on the PAC itself in the executive board. every district does have a representative that sits on that board. So that when you have your meetings or you have your newsletters, each and every one should be able to, one of those representatives should be able to write to your districts. If they have that reputation of knowing what they have to know and be able to disseminate the information, there should be no fear about what the information is going to give you and what Cap Whiz. There are a lot of ways in which we've educated. The question is that we send out the emails. We don't know. I think there's only about 60% that, right? 60% that open up the emails. I think that's what it is. I think overall. I think on everything that's sent out. But yet, for all of you that sit in this room are all leaders. I hope everyone here is a PAC member, because if you're not a leader. You
We'll
know,
be happy to take your check.
I'm not here to do that.
How do you spell solo?
But, you know, as Charlie said, you know, money talks and BS walks. And in this particular case, what happens on Beacon Hill with the non-covered services, with dental examinations for students, for having the access to have hospital care for children with disabilities, all these are strong issues that all of you should take seriously and actually support. So when you go back to your meetings and you go back to write your newsletters, every one of you should be able to spread the word of the fact that the PAC is an important part of this dental society, because politics is everything, whether it be local, state, or federal, it's everything. So I hope that everybody here tonight will go back with the thought that what's happening on Beacon Hill really will affect our lives and our practices, not just tomorrow, not next week, but as you asked about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever the model's going to be, as Bob Booth was talking about, you know, there's a mega topic that's going to happen at the ADA next week, and it's going to talk about the vision of dentistry for the next 5 years. And hopefully I'll be able to come back to my district to be able to tell them what that vision may be. And I know that this dental society, Mass Dental Society, we at our last board meeting, has certainly taken a strong point of trying to understand what that vision will be. Because we do want everybody here, as members, be a benefit membership to this membership, that we're going to be able to inform you, prepare you for what might happen in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Priya?